I guess it has started recording now. So, yeah, continuing my points from the last video. First of all, I would like to mention that I did not expect my previous video to get 70 views and 3 likes and 3 comments. I mean, for a first video, that's a lot, okay? Uh, my reason of upload was so that I don't have to explain to everybody that why I'm an agnostic or an atheist person. So I could just tell them that you can go to my YouTube channel and watch my so and so video. So that was my reason of app upload in the first place. So and I just wanted to share my side of story and my point of view about atheism. Okay, so after I uploaded my first video, my mom commented on it. I mean to say, she watched the video and she called me around 9 p.m. and she started stating her points about why she believes in God. So, just like I told in my previous video, that how it was a cultural shock in my class for someone to be a non-believer. So, so it is not usually acceptable in my society. Okay, I just want to tell my mom that you don't have to change my opinions just because you are my mom. We can coexist. I am just stating my point of view and my experience about atheism. So in my societies, it is not generally acceptable for someone to be a non-believer. Okay. The thing is, even speaking about atheism in my local language and out loud can cause me physical harm. So I generally try to speak it in English so that only educated people around me can understand my videos. Okay, so anyways, one of the user commented on my video that okay, let me just tell you exactly what he uh, commented. Uh, he said, agnostic atheist is a good start, but let's see if this can nudge you towards the truth. To disprove God, you need to know two things: contradictions don't exist, and God's properties have a contradiction. God is defined as a mind that created the universe. So, P1, that is premise 1 for you, cause is either before or simultaneous to its effect. In premise 2, God is outside of time, so it isn't before or simultaneous to anything. And he draws two conclusions from it. Conclusion 1, God isn't the cause of anything because from the premise he said he is beyond time. And the other conclusion he draws, since God isn't the cause of anything, he isn't the cause of the creation of the universe, thus God doesn't exist. So let me put it to you in a simpler way so that everyone can understand. He said that he, let me break it down to you. He used two premises and two conclusions he draw from those two premises. Okay. So the first premise is cause is either before or simultaneous to its effect. So what he's trying to say is that action should be before or simultaneous to the effect of the cause or action. For example, if there is a fire, then there will be smoke immediately. Or if you press a switch, the fan turns on immediately. So the cause and effect are immediate or simultaneous in this situation. Okay. And the second premise he draws, uh, he says that God is outside time. So just like time variance authority, if you have seen Loki TV show from Marvel Studios, there exists a time variance authority which manages the entire timeline. So there's this timeline, and the time variance authority sits uh, outside. time and manages the entire timeline so it doesn't branch out into other realities. Uh, so okay, the first thing you said that God is defined as a mind that created the universe. First of all, God is not just one thing. Okay, He is many things, but you had to comment on this point, so I would reply to you on this point. Mm, So the point is what you are assuming is that cause should involve time. The words immediate and simultaneous in your comment suggest that you are involving time in cause and effect. Okay. So the cosmologists and the scientists say that the time started after the Big Bang theory. Sorry, after the Big Bang. So this Big Bang was the effect. It was directly the effect. Okay. So to ask what is the cause before this is meaningless because the term before Big Bang, before uh, Big Bang, like Big Bang existed and before and after. So the term before the Big Bang is meaningless because there was no such thing as before the Big Bang. So cause and effect should not involve time. What I'm trying to say is so. So your conclusion one, which was God isn't the cause of anything, it becomes shaky now. And your second conclusion that since God isn't the cause of anything, He isn't the cause of the creation of the universe, thus God doesn't exist. So you have a leap of faith between He isn't the cause of the creation, thus God doesn't exist. So what I'm trying to say is God can exist and He created this Big Bang and could sit outside time, just like time variance authority. If you have seen Loki series, uh, you would understand it if what I'm trying to say. Okay. And now the actual points, uh, what I that how I turned from agnostic person to an atheist person within a day. Okay. So the only reason why I was an agnostic person was I didn't want to have the burden of proof on me. Uh, so I read about the burden of proof and everything about it. And I would like to share that how I turned into an atheist person, not an I'm not an agnostic anymore. So let's start let's start to talk about the burden of proof. Okay. So let's suppose there are two persons, person A and person B. Okay. Just imagine A and B. A and B. Person A makes a positive claim of someone's existing existence or something's existent. Okay. Person A makes an assumption or claims that something exists. So the thing is, it has the burden of proof on him if he is making a positive claim. And person B makes a negative claim about someone or something, right? But if he's making a negative claim about something, he doesn't have the burden of proof on himself. Generally, there is no burden of proof on the person who is making a negative claim about something. Okay. Burden of proof exists on the non-believer or an atheist person if he is dogmatist. Okay. Now suppose a person B makes a claim that God does not exist. So he can either be skeptic or a dogmatist. Skeptic person says, I don't believe in God, provide me with evidence. So the burden of proof does not exist on him anymore. Okay. Because he is demanding evidence of of God. Okay. And the second one is dogmatic. The person is dogmatic if he believes, if he says, I don't believe in God and I can prove it, which is strong atheism. So this second type, strong atheism, has burden of proof on him too, because he is also claiming something, that the God does not exist at all. So the burden of proof is on him too. So uh, the thing is, there is problem to prove something negative. Okay, let me tell you. I have uh, read and researched all about it. Okay, it is practically, mathematically, and physically possible to prove something exists. Okay, if I say there's a tree uh, outside my window, I can just physically see that there exists a tree, which is practically, physically, and mathematically possible. Okay, but it is often impossible to prove something which does not exist. So the statement burden of proof lies on the positive claimer and not on negative claimer was not decided by me and you. It was a process of slow evolution over the time. Uh, just it was a slow evolution of legal and logical rules over thousands of years. So the Roman Empire, if you know about it, they were very civilized people and very ahead of their time. So the philosophers over there had a saying that said, let me quote it for you: "E incumbit probatio qui dicit, non qui negat," which means that proof lies on him who asserts or speaks, not on him who denies. Okay. Uh, so the burden of proof lies on someone who claims something and not on someone who negates it. That's what the Romans used to say. So it's not me and you who decide who has the burden of proof. It has been uh, evolved around from thousands of years. So it is what it is. I mean, we can't deny that. So the thing is, we don't treat something exists and something does not exist equally. The weight of something exists lie far below than that of something that does not exist. Okay, the weight of something exists is far below than weight of something does not exist. Something does not exist has what I mean to say is, proving something does not exist lie above all, and proving something exists, we the thing is, we can't treat them equally. Okay, the I got confused for a bit over here. Let me rephrase it for you. uh, the claim of something exists is far below, and the claim of something that does not exist lies far above. We can't treat them on the same level, because it has its reasons. Because if we treat them equally, then there occurs two problems. Okay, first one is the problem of infinite claims. If we treat both something exists and something does not exist equally, then people can claim anything they want. Like if I claim that there is a small elephant in your ear, which is not true. Now, since you can't prove it, since you can't prove that there is an elephant in your ear, so it would make my claim just as likely as the idea that there isn't one. Okay, so elephant in your ear and elephant not in your ear becomes equal. and which does not make sense at all if you think logically. And the next, so we don't treat them equally, okay. And then next problem is the logical paralysis. If we have to give equal weight to every random claim someone makes, then we can't function in reality, because we would be balancing millions of invisible threats or objects at all times. So anyone can say anything, and we just will be we will just start to not prove something, and that would take just a lot of time, and that just doesn't make sense. So we treat does not exist as default. So getting back to what I was saying, if someone is a strong atheist, now person A and person B again. Person B, two types, skeptic and dogmatist. Dogmatists have to prove that God does not exist, and person A, who claims God exists, have to prove the existence of God. The thing is, if dogmatist couldn't prove the non-existence of God, it does not mean that the God exists. The the point is, it becomes neutral again. If someone is trying to uh, prove that God does not exist, so the pointer now moves right here, okay, and he is not able to prove the non-existence of God, the pointer moves in neutral again, okay. It does not make the existence of God real. So the atheists still have the claim, and they still have the burden of proof, and they still have to prove that the God exists, okay. So it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter for a non-believer to prove or not prove, if he is able to prove or not prove the non-existence of God. So okay, the thing is, if an atheist person is not able to prove the non-existence of God, then it does not mean God exists in itself. The atheists or the believer still has the burden of proof, and they still have to prove the existence of God. And until, okay, and until the believers, the theist people couldn't prove the existence of God, the non-believers or the atheists person are entitled enough to hold on to their opinions and believe in the non-existence of God. So the thing is, the only thing I was uh, not becoming an atheist person, because I didn't wanted to have the burden of proof on me. But now I have read uh, that it doesn't matter for an atheist person if he could be able to prove the like non-existence of God. So I have just uh, turned into an atheist person now. Now I don't believe in God, and I need the evidence of the God which the believers are being trying to prove over hundreds of years. Okay, so and probably on my next video I will be talking about religion. Okay, okay. This and my first video was on God itself, and so okay, this was about burden of proof, and the last one was about my story of becoming an agnostic person. Now maybe my next video will be on religion. Okay, so this was my story of becoming an atheist person within a day. So thank you for your time.